What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Nessa Nanas, and you guys know I'm back on The Real, The Ratchet, and The Reckless. Guys, I'm really excited. First things first, Happy New Year 2021, bitch. I'm really excited because I just feel like it's a fresh start, and I feel like we've been through a lot 2020, but we're ready to go. We're never going to stop. Whatever we're doing, we have to keep pushing. It's a new year, and I'm really excited because I have another guest, and this guest honestly has a story, and I just can't wait for you guys to hear. I have Carol Roque, the CEO of Bebesita. If you are not following her, you're going to want to do that at the end of this interview. So welcome, Carol.
Hi, hola.
How are you?
Good, and yourself?
I'm doing great. Once again, I want to thank you for coming on. We did have a mini conversation before we hit play because, now it's so easy that now it's embraced to just meet strangers. And it's like, just connect with people that are doing the same thing and have maybe similarities. Like, even though I podcast and you run a whole ass business, I'm sure that we have very similar things. I'm sure. And I just want to put that to light. Like I've mentioned to you that I love to capture people's story. When I see people hustling, especially people of color, I'm just so interested to know and just to motivate our listeners and our people around us, our community, that look, we are regular schmegular. You know what I'm saying? And you can do it too. And I just feel that as people and, for our people, like we were saying, we need to be less scared and just push people and show them that we're all here doing it.
Yes, we just got to do it. Not sometimes not even think about it. It's just like, the way that I started, honestly, I created a page. I didn't have shit.
So
I
how did
really
the idea come? So let's just jump into that. Tell me your journey. Like, when did it cross your mind? What were you doing at the time when it crossed your mind? Because I know that when we think of these things, we have a whole nother life, like to get money, our jobs, our situations. Like, what were you going through when this even crossed your mind?
Okay, so before I got inspired to start like my own thing, I remember that I came across one of those pop-ups. I think it was Molcajete Dominguero. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Yes, yes, yes. I've heard of
Yeah.
them. Yes.
Okay, so there is this small shop that I remember that followed me. It was Salsa for President.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where they're at right now. They've been inactive, but they followed me and then I followed them back. And I was just like, oh my God, this is like really cool shit. I had
Yeah.
never seen like Latina brand stuff, nothing. So through them, I started discovering other little small shops. And I was just like, oh my God, like I really love this. I really love that they're representing, the
Latinos.
Latin community. I feel like we need more of that. And then I remember at the Molcajete Dominguero, I came across Brown Badass Bonita. I don't know
Yes,
if,
yes, yes. She's
okay, so
gorgeous.
him. Yes, and I was like, oh my God, this is beautiful. And I was just so inspired by like everybody's things. And
Yeah.
I'm such a t-shirt girl. And I remember my husband was like, you should do this. I know you like t-shirts and you're always thinking like, oh, I wish,
It
this would be
said
on a
this. Yeah.
t-shirt. Yes, or like that. And honestly, I feel like most of the stuff on my t-shirts, they're a lot like affirmations, I feel.
A
It's like,
reminder.
yeah, like a reminder, like this is who I am. I might not feel like a mujer poderosa every day, but I know that I am. And if I rock this, like I'm gonna step into that power and I'm just gonna do my fucking best.
Yeah.
And I mean, all I know, all I knew is that I wanted to start something.
Mhm.
And I said, and I remember this thought was like November 2018.
Mhm.
And I didn't start till like March, I believe, March
Okay.
2019.
Mhm.
So can you imagine all that time just contemplating like, am I good enough? Is this gonna be good enough? Like, am I gonna do
Yeah.
well? It's always like that self-doubt that's like, I guess, like detaining you from reaching your
Holding you
dream.
back. Yeah.
Yes, like holding you back. And then I'm just like, I would have like self talks with myself, like, no, bitch, you can't do this. Like,
No,
can you
yeah.
imagine, like, if you lived your life every day, like thinking, what if? Te vas a quedar like
Imagine
with
what we
broken.
owed. Like,
Yes.
that's, you're gonna live in regret. And I feel like my grandma's always saying that. Like, I hear my grandma talk and I'm like, oh my God, like a lot of her words are like, I si pudiera, I if I would go, if I can go back, if I could go back. And I think that that's so dope that you with your shirts, especially because I was looking obviously at your page, and I've been following you for a minute already. But I feel like lately you were popping up more. It was funny because it's like you forget you're following people until they post, and that's the reality. It's like you have to remember that you will be forgotten because everybody is doing it. You just have to keep going. One thing that I really like about it is that it's edgy. And I love edgy. Like, I just love the edgy look, the darker look. Your brand gives me that. Like, you know what? Today I feel like saying fuck you. Today I feel like being like, oh, I'm such a lady. Like, you know what I'm saying? Your brand gives me those vibes that you kind of, whatever you want to throw on a t shirt, you do it.
Yeah, it's like I feel like my goal is just to have, a little bit for everybody. I don't want to just be fixated like in only one, like only positive, positive, positive. It's just like,
Exactly.
yes, positivity, but if you want to be an angry bitch, be an angry bitch. It's
Yeah.
okay. Like it's okay because can you imagine like a world where you just had to get your have your shit together? That's so unrealistic.
No, and I feel like it's time to embrace that. Like, we don't got our shit together. And people
Yes,
are
and
afraid
it's
to say
okay.
that. It's
Yes,
okay. Yeah.
yes. And I'm trying to destroy well, maybe for me, I just feel like, when I first started, I would be like, oh my God, is this okay to post? Or like, maybe I shouldn't tell people, that I'm feeling sad, or maybe I shouldn't tell people like, that I'm feeling super happy. It's just like one of those things where you just have to be yourself and you have to just be everything, a whole mess, a whole as the other bitch, like whoever it is that you're feeling that day. Because truth is that, we're always changing, we're always evolving,
Oh, yeah.
and I mean that's that's the only way. Because
Yeah.
if we, let's say if we didn't take those that risk, if we were like the same person, there would be no growth,
No, and it just like you
you
can't.
know?
And I feel like people sometimes get stuck on that. Me and a friend and I, we were talking about how like I was catching up with a friend and she made the comment like, well, Vanessa, at least like, you already know what you want to do for the rest of your life. Like, and that's
Mhm.
beautiful, but like, it's hard. Like, I guess she was working and I'm sitting here like, I don't think I want to be podcasting for the rest of my life. And I told her like, even though I found what I like right now, that I feel like
Mhm.
people always like press you like, well, think about your future. Like if you're gonna choose this right now, you better like make it grow and like depend on it, which is true. But what if I wake up tomorrow and I want to just, I like working with kids. I like working with kids. I like talking to people. I might go into counseling later. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, nobody should make you feel like nothing for switching it up. Like, do you know if I still stuck to what I liked? Girl, I was just telling somebody else, I was calling myself Harajuku Barbie in high school. What if I would have been Harajuku Barbie right now? The fuck? What the fuck? So it's like people need to embrace that. Yes, I'm still me, but my things are changing.
Yeah, no, definitely. I agree. I just feel like you always got to do what's good for you, because if you're going to live your life based on other people's expectation, you got to ask yourself, am I really going to be happy about that? It's like, no, you always have to do whatever is best for you. I just hate like societal standards. Like,
Yeah.
I'm a mom and they say, oh, pero eres madre, no debes que hablar así, no te debes que vestir así, ¿por qué perreas así? And it's just like, ¿por qué te gusta esa
I
música?
wish we could press rewind and see what she was doing, little lady. Really, they be forgetting. Like just because, and you know what is also a thing, like because nobody knew, they wouldn't. They're upset because we flaunt it. We flaunt.
Yeah.
Like my grandma would see me shaking my. She's like, "Ay, Vane, por favor." I'm like, "What? You was doing it behind closed doors. You was doing it, but
Yeah.
you weren't telling nobody." So it's like
Mhm.
you're just upset because we're flaunting it, and I don't think there's anything wrong with breaking the rules because these rules that were made up clearly don't work anymore, just like the government. Like,
It's kind of like one of those things where it's like it's from a Bad Bunny song and it like stuck to
mm,
me, and even my mom loves it. I tell her, tú vive tu vida, yo vivo la mía. Because I think a lot of times when people judge or anything, I was like, why are you mad? Like certain things that shouldn't even be a big deal. For example, like if you're a mom and let's say you have a job, or let's say you go out and have a drink like with your girls, once I feel like I kind of struggle with that throughout, because I became a young mom at 19.
okay.
I'm gonna be 32 in February.
Girl, I was about to say, you look so young. I was really about to ask, how old are you? You
I'm
look
gonna be
so young. Well, 30 is still young, but I'm like, you look like no kids, ain't no stress.
Yes, and you know what? And I think it's because I just kind of keep that young and wild, free spirit. I'm just really young, like, young in heart. I'm
No,
still
but it
young.
is true. Exactly. No,
Look
wait.
at
It's because
23.
I was like, and it sucks because there's a number to our life, which sucks. But it's like I really feel. I promise you, I'm 27. I feel like I just got out of high school. It's gonna be maybe 10 years, and I feel like it was 5 years ago or 3 years ago. So it's like
Yes.
when people say I feel young at heart, it's like, no, bitch, you still young. They just they
Like,
put a time on
yeah.
us.
No, I think at the age of 30 is when I started realizing, like, you know what? Like, because I feel like before I used to care, like, a lot. I used to think, like, oh my God, like, I'm supposed to show up as this lady, be a certain way, to kind of like accommodate to people's likings or whatever. And then I realized, like, I was so unhappy. I was just like, no, Carol. And I remember my mom was like really free spirited. And I think it's because of her that I'm
That
like
helped.
the woman
Yeah.
that I am today. She was like, tú a ti, ¿qué te importa si te, how to say,
Critican.
critica la gente? And my dad would be, sí, que te valga madre. Like that,
Yeah.
he's like he just told me, like, don't give a fuck. If people are
Yeah.
going to be there chingándote, no lo necesitas en tu vida. And then I wonder, now that I'm older, I understand, like, why he's not around, like, certain family members. I'm
Yeah.
just like, because it's toxic, when people, all they do is like want to
Put
talk
you
shit if they're
down.
not
Yeah.
doing,
But because
like if
they
you're
feel
not
like
doing like
shit.
that.
You can't
Hmm.
listen. And I feel like I can't stress that enough that I know I'm a good person, right? I know I'm happy and I'm a good person. And you don't see me talking shit to her. You don't see me in comment. You know, so people that are doing that means they're opposite of me. So you're negative, you're upset. And I feel like you can't, and I know that it's hard to say like fuck the haters or whatever. Like don't let the words get to you. Luckily, I haven't experienced hate. I know it's yet to come because with success comes hate, right? So I know it's gonna come, but I know that when it comes, it's just gonna show me all the people that are very just not happy with their life. So every time you feel that, or you feel like there's hate, or you think about it, remember that those people, they feel ugly inside, which is sad. And I hope and I pray for the haters. I really do, because it is a beautiful world out here for people that are positive and people that want to get things done. It's nice. Like, come join us. You know what I'm saying? So why care about the people that are talking if the people that are talking are not well? You know?
Exactly. It's kind of like, you know what, like you can do it too.
Yes. This
Like
is
you
why
can
we're
go,
doing this.
yeah, like you can go and live that life too. Like you don't have to stay in your little bubble. I think it's because
Mhm.
they see life like with rules. And the thing is, like, no, you have to say fuck the rules and break them and live on your
How
own
you want
terms.
to live.
How you want to live. And the rules, you make them on your own. I mean, obviously, like when it comes to law and all that stuff, yeah, it's different. But when it comes to your life, tú eres la dueña
Yep.
o el dueño.
You're running your
You,
own life.
yes,
That's dope.
basically.
All right.
Yeah.
So, okay. Oh my God. I'm like, woo, I'm
I feel
going
like we
in.
kind of like went everywhere.
Yeah, and that's fine because that's what always happens. And
Yeah.
I feel like when we call it interviews, it's just like you have to stick to something. It's like, no, you don't. We're just gonna talk, girl. Like I just want to get to know you. And I want the people to
Yeah.
know that, obviously if they follow you on Instagram, which I will provide for them, that they will see what you're doing. And I just always want to show people like the artist who's behind the art. That's really important because people always think, oh, you have it together because they think so much. And it's like, no, we don't. It's like, no, it's just life. Like I really, like, I can't afford nothing right now. Like I'm doing what I love. And it's like, you can do it too. And I know that it's harder. Like you mentioned, you have kids. Like, you know what I'm saying? Girl, I work with kids. And when 6 o'clock came, I was ready to be like, bye, Johnny. See you tomorrow. So, girl, that is another job. You're running a business. You're young and you were a young mother. You're a mom. You're a wife. Like, what? So, I kind of want to
Yeah.
see how you collab both and your kind of advice for moms that are listening.
Okay, so I'm such an advocate when it comes to like encouraging moms because I think in the beginning, even me, I feel like I was a victim of having the mentality like, oh, well, I'm a mom, I can't do things anymore. Like, I just have to like dedicate myself to my kids, or I just have to dedicate myself to being a wife. And I remember my husband was just like, no, but I mean, this is a little bit of chisme.
Mhm.
Maybe it's because I just had a really rough time with my mother-in-law. And I think like she was really toxic to me. And it's not for me, to put shame on her name or anything like that. Oh, because she loves our kids. She's a
Of
great
course.
grandma, but she just wasn't good to me. And you know what? That's the truth. Why am I going to be like, oh,
Lie
yeah,
about it.
and lie about it? We're just going to keep it raw. We're just going to keep it real. But I just feel like thanks to her, like, because I don't want to be like that, you know? And I remember mom be like, why you got, like, you don't have to listen to anything that she has to say. But my mom, she's one que no se mete. So I had to fucking, and I'm
Do
like,
it.
Mom, like, ¿por
Yeah.
qué no me dijiste todas estas cosas antes que sufriera todo su wrath of? It was just, I was just like, what the
But out of
fuck?
every bad situation, girl, you gotta see something good. I promise you, it sounds
Yes,
terrible, but out of bad situations, you learn. You just gave her credit right now. You're like,
yes.
if it wasn't for her, you know?
Yes, yes. And it's like one of those things, well, okay, and I kind of got a little bit off the topic, but I
No,
just
it's
want to
okay.
say, like, moms, whoever's listening, moms out there, like, just because you're mom doesn't mean that you can't go and live your dreams. Like, whatever you want to do, you gotta keep doing it. You're more than just a mom. My mom told me myself, tus hijos se van a dejar un día. Y luego qué?
Yes.
Y luego qué? And I'm
Yes.
just like, oh my God, like, you're so true. Like, you and my dad are a perfect example, you know?
Mhm.
And it's so cool, like, now that, we're all older, like, to see them, and my mom goes
You
and does her
understand more now
activity.
that we're getting older,
Yeah,
right? You just
and we party
understand.
together sometimes.
Yes. Oh my God. I love that. I love that. And I know that the moms feel like that, like as a reward. Like, damn, imagine looking at your kid like, damn, I made this bitch. Like, and now I get
Yes.
to live with her, turn up with her.
I learned, well, I mean, now it took me maybe a few years, but now I know it's like, you know what, as long as you show up, for your kids and they're
Exactly.
happy, doesn't matter. Your
Safe.
health doesn't always have to be perfect. You don't have to be perfect. I think that when they look at me, I don't even think like they're even thinking like, oh, my mom is this and that. I think like as long as I provide
No.
for them and I talk to them, we have memories, like that's all that matters to them.
Because
And
remember,
that makes me happy.
what the kids see at home, it's normal. Well, to because I think about
Mhm.
like growing up, I'm like, well, that seemed pretty normal. And then when you get older, you're like, oh shit, what? But when you're
Exactly.
little, you just think that's the way life is, right? Like when
Yeah,
you're young, you're just like, oh,
yeah,
that's supposed to go like that. So when they're older, they'll understand and they'll appreciate mom for everything that she did. And shout out to all the mommies. Let's give them a horn. Let's see, where's my horn?
yes. Shout out to you.
Shout out to the mamas. We love you. So, just moving forward, you said you jumped right in, you did it, and you're doing it. We could clearly see that. And I know that a lot of people like to talk about, not talk about it, but I like to remind people that it's not all peaches and cream. Like, there's a little struggle behind. And just for the people that want to start their own thing, I do want to know, like, your advice. You're like, we say, like, well, we started 2 years ago and there's years to things. But in the state that you're in now and where Bebesita has gone, like what would be like some quick tips, just some quick tips for people that want to start? Because I'm sure with viewers, you have people that are going to watch this and be like, oh my God, like what can be a kick? What would you want to hear if you're on the other side?
Well, okay. So you know how I shared when I started, I didn't have nothing. So the thing was like either I create it myself or I find someone to do it for me. So everything, from the logos, from actual printing on the shirts, I do everything myself.
Okay.
And I didn't, like I said, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. So I started with the heat press and I
Okay.
just learned how to start screen printing. So
Okay.
I remember when I started with the heat press. I remember when I was printing my stuff, it was coming out like mirrored wise, like
Oh,
backwards.
backwards.
Like, yeah, so like, I mean, I don't know if you can read my shirt right now. It's
Oh,
probably,
it's perfect. Yeah.
it would be the other way around. And it's kind of like trial and error. As far as creativity, it's like whatever comes to mind. I've always been a writer. I feel like when I'm a better writer than speaker, I
Oh,
truly feel. So
nice.
whenever I post, I feel like sometimes I just, whatever I'm channeling, I'm just like writing it down. But if you were to ask me like, oh, come, let's do a live and this, I'm actually surprised with myself because I'm one like to like really choke, especially like when speaking
But
to
I'm like,
people.
girl, this is going great. I'm like, this is
Yeah,
so
yeah,
good.
yeah. That's why I'm just like, hey, like I'm proud of myself. But I think it's maybe something I already have overcome. Because back then I used to be like, oh my God, like, when you do a video and then you delete it and then you do it
And you keep
again
looking, yeah, oh my God,
and
yeah.
you keep on deleting it. And now it's just like, I don't care. I'm going to show up. This is me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to show up as an imperfect person that I am because
And
that's the
people
truth.
love that. People respect that.
And I'm human, just like you, just like everybody else. I want people to feel good about themselves. I want people to not feel pressured, to have it together all the time because I feel like that really messes like with mental health. And I'm such
Yes, and
a
it
mental
holds you
health advocate.
back.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
such a mental health advocate. And it's one of those things where you always got to do what's for you. Like, who cares about what other people think that you should do? No, like, do whatever's for you. I'm over here, like, getting off topic otra vez.
No,
But
it's fine.
it's just, it's just like really going for it, and asking people questions. When I started, I remember I only had one friend. Her name is Mayra.
Mhm.
She's Bad Moms Club.
Okay.
Shout out to her.
Shout out.
We, shout out to her because we would share resources like, hey, what kind of material are you using? What kind of machine are you using? Um,
Yes.
where could we buy our shirts? You will find people who are going to help you along the way. And when you do, it's like, keep them. The best
Yeah, I think
friendships,
that's
like the bala.
important.
Yeah, some
Yeah.
people are very nice about it. Y otras, I mean, you can't expect, to have someone give you all
Free.
everything
Yeah.
possible. But to start like with the key points, get your name, start your IG, have
Ask
like
questions,
what
you said.
ask questions, have like one design or two that you have in mind. Either you learn how to print your stuff yourself, or find a printer too, because screen printers are everywhere. Yelp,
Yes.
thank God for Yelp
Yeah.
and Google, honestly, and YouTube. YouTube
Yep.
was a teacher. A lot of people say like, well, you got to go to school, to make these designs and this and that. No, you
YouTube. It
can
has helped
self.
a lot. Yeah.
Yes, you can self. Everything's self-taught, and I
Mhm.
think son las ganas. Con ganas todo se puede.
Yep. That's
Porque si
true.
no tienes tantos ganas, like, you're really not gonna get yourself nowhere, I feel.
Oh
I'm not
yeah.
saying no, you won't, but I just feel like you need the
You
ganas.
need to have that push in yourself because ain't
Mhm.
nobody gonna push you. I've said that a
Mhm.
lot of times. I used to feel the type like, well, someone's gonna come knock on my door and be like, I heard you. You should come. No, I used to be like that. Like, it'll come to me. And it's like, no, you have to put in the work. You have to want it. Las ganas.
Yes.
I wanted to comment on your writing. I think that's super interesting. And I feel like I'm sure that really, now that you said you're more of a writer than a person to just talk out
Mhm.
loud, that it shows. It's now that it all kind of makes sense from the things that you post and things that you put on a shirt. I think I'm sure that kind of helps your job a little bit, make it a little easier.
Yes, and I feel like maybe a lot of the stuff that I have now probably has to do, with a lot of past experiences. Because I feel like a lot of us have been through some sort of trauma.
Of
We've
course.
all been through something that's been super life changing. And I think in those moments, what I really wanted was someone to tell me it's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
And I felt like maybe I did have it, and at that moment I couldn't see it. Just when you're in a dark place, you kind of like block everything. But I just felt like I wanted someone to tell me these things, and I feel like, you know what? Well, I'm gonna be that person that I wanted in my life. And
Yes.
it's just like kind of like delivering it, to the public, because I do have this strong sense that, like, I'm here for a purpose, and I find my writing as a strength. And I know that many of us can relate, in many different ways. I mean, I don't know. I just feel like I'm a vessel, and I'm
Yeah.
here, to share the magic, and to receive, whatever magic is being
No, yeah, and I
like
think you're doing a
impacting
good
me.
job. No, yeah, you're doing great. And just on your page, like I said, if they're not following you, we're gonna provide that. You are being you and what you feel. You've been throwing it on a shirt. If so, to see
Mhm.
if there's anybody that feels like that, if there's anybody in a dark place, this is what I feel. This is what I wanted to hear when I was going through a dark time. This is what I want to hear when I'm having a good time. You can wear it, and if you can relate, fuck with it. And I feel like people forget that. People get intimidated and want to please and want to see the income, but I feel that people forget that you are the artist. Like, make sure
Yeah.
that you can see the artist through the brand. Make sure that your brand is you.
And that's one thing also that I would like to encourage everybody to do, because I feel like some people will be like, well, I want to do, shirts, or I want to do, let me see, like, sell like candles. But that other person's already doing shirts, or are they doing candles? But it's just kind of like, hey, it's okay. Like, it's a big ass world,
Yeah.
You do candles, but with your magic in it. You go do shirts, but with your twist in it. Like how you're saying, put you in it, and you're good. Because if you're going to build a brand where you're going to be exactly like some other brand, it's not going to be successful, because I feel that people pay attention to that. And they're gonna be, well, aquí hay una cosa, but it's like the other one. I just feel like small businesses are so unique because these are
Yes.
things that you don't find at the malls.
It's because even like Forever and even like H&M, people will be like, oh well, I can find that at H&M for 5.99. People forget that behind that shirt and all those shit that you are seeing on their Instagram is from one person. You know
Yeah,
the team that Forever, Forever 21's team is probably China, and they getting paid like is your clothes is made out of 20 cents, and people are busting their ass and getting paid 5 cents. Like, and I feel that people forget that about small businesses, that it's one creator and it's one person busting their ass all day, all night, for them for them to sell even one shirt or 5 shirts, and it took them 5 months.
oh yeah, definitely. Because I do everything myself. The
Yeah.
creator, photographer. It's so funny because I remember this one customer was like, "Oh, hi, Bebesitas team. I just wanted to know like how to make this shirt run or
You're
whatever."
reading the email, you're looking like, oh, what's up, team? Hey, when there's an I in team, there's for sure an I in team right now.
Shirt, the way like a shirt runs and stuff, and I was just like, "Oh,
Oh.
hi," and I'm just like, "I'm a fucking whole ass team."
Hey, the
I,
spaghetti se están quemando. You're like, hold on. Let me.
you know, I'm just like getting a whole ass team. My husband, his name is Jesus, Jesus, but
Jesus.
I call him Jesus.
Jesus.
He's just like, man, he's like, you should pat yourself in the back. They think you're a whole ass team. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is fucking crazy. But it's pretty
That's how
awesome.
people view it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like
Mhm.
that is the beauty of like having you on today. Like, look, everybody, this is Bebesita. This is Carol. And Carol, I'm like really
Yeah.
happy that you agreed to come on. I'm like, just so people know we don't know each other. I was
Mhm.
following you through like I love La Vida Pam Pam's Yaki. Shout out Yaki. I'm always shouting her out because I feel like she was, I like you said, I wasn't really seeing like Latino stuff on the internet like that until like 2 3 years ago. And
Mhm.
Yaki, when I followed her, she had all of you guys like brown badass
Mhm.
brown Latina, her like, oh, I know higher women like because of her, and she was a person like promoting these small Latina businesses, and I was
Yes.
like, oh my god. And I feel like I went through her list, and that's how I found you too. And it's good to meet you. It's beautiful to meet you. I like how a lot of people stress like, oh, I need to find models, and I see that I saw all your work. I like that you have different kind of girls, not just a certain girl rocks the look, like just different kind of girls. I saw men in there, and then I see you. I see you rocking your own shit.
Yes. And you know what? I love like how everything looks different. Like even for Yaki, like the way I've had her, wear some of my stuff. And
Yes.
her look is just so different, it's so different. And then you have like your chill look. I feel like I kind of have like rockerita vibes.
Yeah. No,
Okay,
edgy. It's the edgy that I
grungy,
like. I love
edgy.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like different. And I just want women or anyone, even men, lo que sea, because I have the guy that you see, he's one of my gay friends.
Okay.
I have two of them, and they show up and they rock my stuff, and I'm so thankful for them, because I'm trying to be all inclusive. I
Of
want to,
course.
have more Afro Latinas, even like Black women, more people of color, even just anybody. I just wanted to be all inclusive. I think that's important. And a lot of times it's like I don't really like reach out to people. Like these people come and I'm always so open to it.
Yeah.
Cuz I don't know how I feel about like reaching out to people. I feel like what if they don't want to? I don't know if that's like a thing.
Yeah, of course. Girl, I do it all the time. Like
Oh,
sometimes I'm just like, and even if you might like, I legit feel that way because it is the truth. Like I've had people reach out to me and I'm not feeling it. And I feel like that's one
yeah.
thing to remember, that it's
Mhm.
okay if somebody's not feeling it. Like it's not a bad thing. I don't hate you. And I know that if they're not feeling me, it doesn't mean that they don't hate me, but they're just not feeling it. I feel like when I interview people, if I go to your DMs, it's because something about you kind of pulled me to you. I don't just go to random ass people and just be like, oh, like you should come on the podcast. Like I was watching you and I love what you do. So why not ask if I feel like, not that I didn't even know you, but your page attracted me, and I'm like, if you are your page, then we're gonna click because I fuck with your page.
Okay.
But if you're not your page and I like it, then maybe you're not. You know what I'm saying? So don't be
Yeah.
afraid if you are like if a page calls you, like just fucking reach out. And I always in my message, I always add, even though maybe if it's a no, if you don't want to come on the show, like I like to let you know that I fuck with what you're doing and keep it up. Cause it is the truth. I'm only reaching out because I like what you do. So maybe if you add something like that, like don't be afraid because sometimes people won't vibe, but it doesn't mean they don't like you. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's weird.
it's like one of those things, like you attract your vibe. I'm like so big on
Exactly. It's
energy.
true.
I'm
It's
so
so true.
And that's why I was just like, yes, I'm gonna do this. A little scared, but you know what? I'm gonna conquer this shit.
No,
You know,
you got it. And you're doing
I was like,
great.
I need to get over it. You know, because I feel like sorry, there was a while where I just felt like what's that word? Like I would get social anxiety.
Yeah, it's a
I don't know.
thing.
I don't know why. I was just, you know, like when you're on the media, like you're okay, you know, to socialize and do, you know, whatever it is you need to do. But then coming in, like really
Person.
socializing with people, it was fucking scary to me. I don't know why.
Girl, you're not the only you don't know how many people I know that like it's a thing. It's a fucking thing. Like you get me? Like I don't give a
Yeah,
fuck. But I want you to know that there's so many people like that and even more kudos because look what you're doing. Like look where you're at. Look, you know,
yeah,
eventually people also need to prep like eventually Bebesita's gonna blow the fuck up. And they're gonna wanna know who Carol is. And you better be ready.
yeah.
Like
Be
I'm
like,
just a little ratchet, low podcast right now. But imagine like when you get like the light that you eventually get and that you deserve, that they're gonna be like, okay, Miss Carol, we need you right here, right now, tomorrow, 3 p.m. and you're gonna be on air in front of like thousands of people. You
and be like,
know?
hey, what's up? I'm like, hey, what's up?
Hey,
Like,
what's
nothing.
up? Exactly. So it's good that you're
Eventually,
putting it out there already. Like you even
you
coming
know,
on, like it's practice, but know that people are gonna want to know who you are. And it's not gonna be perfect. You're gonna freak out. But I want you to know that there's a lot of people out there that like social anxiety is a thing. It's a
I
thing.
know, it's fucking crazy. I'm just like, why? And then once I'm here, you know, we're vibing, it's like nothing. And then it's done, and I'm like, oh my God, todo ese stress para nada.
Because
Like,
people freak out on like what if like well what if this goes
yeah,
wrong what if like and it's like why are you saying that it hasn't even happened freak out when it happens and then ya
yeah,
pasa you know then yeah
yeah.
it's
And if it
life.
does, it's just one of those things that you have to accept, like, hey, it's okay. Like, I'm only human, you know, like
Yes.
fucking perfection.
Yeah.
I'm starting to embrace
No
that,
one
and
is
I love
perfect,
it.
girl. No one.
Mm-hmm,
No one.
mm-hmm.
Under this, I'm wearing my PJ pants. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my God, I'm wearing a fala.
Yeah. Like I'm just like it is what it is, and we're still doing it. Like we're doing
Like,
it.
like I make no sense, but I'm like uncomfortable. I don't want to wear like
Yes. No, oh my God. And you know what's crazy? That I realized that the first thing that goes in my dirty clothes are like my leggings and my sweats. And then I'm
oh,
looking at my jeans like fucking assholes. I gotta go wash now because I don't want to be in
oh,
jeans right now. Like, why am I gonna
no.
put a fucking socarme the button and I'm gonna be sitting at home? Like, it's just not. So
Just
kudos to everybody wearing PJs all
to give
day.
you like a mark on your belly button. En tu
Yes.
panza. Oh,
Yes. Like
yeah.
my grandma's like, ¿Por qué te los pones tan apretados? I'm like, they fit. Please. They just not meant to be sitting for a long period of time.
Yes, I agree. I
But yeah,
agree.
do you feel like there's something you would love to add? You know that this is your space, this is your time. Do you feel like there's something you want to add or ask or just put out there that you feel I didn't get to or want to say?
Um, yeah, I actually do. You know, a lot of people, you know, they say like you got to stick to one thing, and I know we kind of like talked about that.
A little bit.
I think that you should do whatever it is that you want to do. You know, I went to school, I went to college, I got my AA in child development, I got my BA
Nice.
in human development, and I'm over here doing shirts.
Yeah.
You know, I
That's
used to do
fine.
photography.
Oh,
Um,
lit.
so I am a teacher, you know, an instructional aide, and that's what I do every
On the
morning
side, yeah.
from 10 to 11 with the little kiddos. It's hard. I work with preschoolers. But the thing
Oh,
is
that is
that
hard.
don't limit yourself. Don't limit yourself like I only have to do one thing. And don't feel bad, you know, for doing a bunch of different shit. Like I just feel like sometimes people are like, "Oh, siempre estás haciendo algo." Or, you know, kind of like it almost sounds like they're trying to like belittle you or they don't like you doing all these things. Me, I'm
Yeah.
kind of like like you know,
Because
like
it seemed like you're all over the place. It seems like that. Like we talked about it. Like you should be here. You should be. Who am I? Who are you? Like no. You know, like
Yes. Yes, and it's one of those things that I feel that I've have encountered a lot, like, oh, Carol this or Carol that, or Carol, mira esta, anda haciendo eso, like always like with these comparisons, and it's just like, no, let them go. Always do what works best for you. Si lo puedes hacer todo, hazlo todo. Si lo quieres hacer todo, do it. You shouldn't set like no limitations on yourself. Whatever it is that you want to do, you just go out and do it, because that's the only thing that I have to stress. You just gotta leave that care, what other people are gonna say or what they think. You always gotta do you, in whatever it is
whatever
that
that
you want to
means.
do.
Exactly.
Yes,
And I think
yes.
that's so cool too because you kind of shared how you were in the beginning, like you always cared about what people said. You talk about like when you had your kids, the suegra, like how you always felt like the voices were kind of always there. Like, well, Kara, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? Right. And it's like a lot of people don't leave that. A lot of people stay there because they let that the voices take over their life. And I feel like I appreciate that and I admire that because I want people to see that once upon a time you did give a fuck about what people were saying. Once upon a time you try to fit that. And one day you were like, fuck this, like fuck it. And it doesn't matter the age, the time, your circumstances, give that to yourself. And I want to shout you out for doing that for yourself. You're doing a good job.
Yes, thank you. And I hope, everybody feels inspired, to do the same. And even like with the whole age thing, doesn't matter what your age is. Si quieres empezar algo, whether you're 30, 35, 40,
40.
just do it. Even if you're young too, you can start young también, you
Exactly.
know.
Hey, we all gonna die. I mean, it's scary to say, but I'll see you. I'll see y'all in heaven.
It's reality. Es la
Yeah,
verdad.
it's
Yeah.
reality. Well, I want to thank you, Carol. You are. It's so funny because when at first, obviously, I also probably I get nervous. You know what I'm saying? I get nervous. Like I was telling my mom like maybe it's the vitamins they made me nauseous, but like I get little nervous too. But I'm just happy that my intuitions and my gut feeling wasn't wrong about you. You know, like when you feel the vibe of somebody, you're like, oh, is she gonna be a bitch? Is she gonna be a snobby ass person? You know what I'm saying? I get nervous about those things. I'm like, oh my god, I hope she cool. I hope she cool. But I'm happy that my gut feeling was right about you. And I'm just happy. This is just the beginning. Your plan, your business, it's working and it shows. And I just want to thank you for giving me a piece of your time to share on here. It means a lot.
Oh, well, thank you so much for having me. It was a little bit scary in the beginning. Well, just thinking about it wasn't scary at all.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
love
Like you
you. I love
said,
your
thinking about
vibra,
it. Thank
and
you. Thank you. I
and I love
appreciate
it. I
that
just love it.
so much.
Yes.
So, where can the listeners find you?
They can find me at Bebesitas.la on
Perfect.
IG.
Thank you again. And I hope that this is not the first time we talk. Like, I know there's more. So, I hope I run into you somehow eventually in the future and then we'll be like,
Yes,
bitch,
definitely.
remember? Yeah.
Okay, pues
Thank you
muchas
so
gracias.
much.
Thank you so
No,
much.
don't know that. Thank you for sharing your story. I appreciate you.